as well. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, so we are going to do our weekly ritual, which we love to do, and that is to read from a chapter of the Bhakti Vrksa group. So if you're not reading, then you can, you can mute yourself, or maybe I can do that. I'm going to mute you, but I'm giving you the privileges so that you can unmute yourself. And Sashi Shekhar Prabhu, it's so glad to see you here on the call.
We actually did make cookies 2 days ago.
There you go, lucky. I'm without cookies for the past 4 weeks.
I'll definitely send it to you now. Okay.
You can use the file option, my send file option of Zoom to do that. Okay, so I'm just trying to recall the order. Hare Krishna looks like a special day for us. Now, what happened to our Manasi and Suyash? They are there. So Manasi and Suyash were the first to join, and then Neeral and Khyati, and then Sutapa, and somewhere there Sudevi Mataji had also joined us, and Mayank, and then Sonal, and then we had Sashi Shekhar and Victoria, and we have Chitra Mataji, Chitra Shamran Mataji joining us. So that's the order in which we will read our one-page document. We'll see how much chance we get to read, but there'll be plenty other options to read as well. Khyati Mataji, thankfully, who organizes these calls, she has posted on the chat window, for those of you who joined us late, she has posted a link from where you can download a PDF and you can follow along as we read. So I will just, without much ado, I'll call upon Manasi and Suyash. I don't know, yeah, go ahead. I'm sure you have the document here with you, and just please get started, and we'll do our usual thing of each reading a paragraph. It doesn't matter if a paragraph is small. If you get a small paragraph today, just think of it as Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita. Krishna gave you only that much. I'm just kidding. There will be plenty of opportunities to read other verses as well.
And Archana Mataji also joined us.
Archana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Actually, Archana Mataji joined my call at 3:30 today.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna to all the dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I was actually testing. I was with Ramananda Sakha Prabhu, and I was testing the Zoom for some other thing for ISKCON. And then suddenly I see like, Archana Mataji joined my call. I was like, whoa.
Actually, Mataji, I was also just checking it out because last week I didn't join. So I was just checking it out, like it's working or no. So I just thought to.
Good. I like that kind of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm to hear Krishna Katha is one of the 6 potent items which enhance your devotional service, right? We read that last year.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Suyash Prabhu, Suyash and Mansi, please go ahead and start reading.
6 divisions of surrender. Krishna concludes the Bhagavad Gita by saying, Sarva dharmam paritajyam sarvamam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasmi mam suchaha.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. So what does Krishna mean by surrender? How can we identify if we are surrendering to Krishna? If we do not understand the real meaning of surrender, we may be misguided to perform sinful activities in the name of surrender to the Lord.
Neeral or Khyati, one of the two.
Sri Chaitanya Charitra Madhya Leela 22.100.
One more. You missed a line there, which is very important.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mataji. Real surrender is to lovingly follow the instruction of the Lord in one's life, not a temporary sentimental state of mind.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22.100 explains the division of surrender, which is a benchmark of the process of surrender.
I think Sutapa is having challenges because she's on the phone and she unmutes and something happens. Sutapa? Sutapa?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, go ahead. Were you able to get the document?
Yes, Mataji, but the words are so small on my phone, so I'll better listen today.
Okay, all right. So let's go. And who was next? Was it you, Sudevi, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
अनुकूल्यस्य संकल्पः प्रतिकूल्यस्य वर्जनं रक्षिष्यतीति विश्वासो गोपतृत्वे वर्णं तथा आत्मनिक्षेप कार्पण्ये षड्विध the rejection of unfavorable things, the conviction that Krishna will give protection, the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, full self-surrender, and humility.
Okay, go ahead. Who was next? Maybe Mayank, Sonal, one of you can read?
I can go ahead, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
One who is fully surrendered is qualified with the 6 following characters. 1, the devotee has to accept everything that is favorable for the rendering of transcendental loving service to the Lord. 2, he must reject everything unfavorable to Lord's service. This is also called renunciation. 3, a devotee must be firmly convinced that Krishna will give him protection. No one else can actually give one protection. And being firmly convinced of this is called faith. This kind of faith is different from the faith of an impersonalist who wants to merge into Brahman effulgence in order to benefit by cessation of repeated birth and death. A devotee wants to remain always in Lord's service. In this way, Krishna is merciful to his devotee and gives him all protection from the dangers found on the path of devotional service. 4, the devotee should accept Krishna as his supreme maintainer and master. He should not think that he is being protected by a demigod. He should depend on a maintainer other than Krishna. 5, self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. The devotee is completely dependent on Krishna and he acts and thinks as Krishna desires. 6, the devotee is meek and humble. Next, who wants to read?
Sonal Mataji, Sachi Chekhar, Prabhu. Anyone of you wants to read? Chitra Mataji?
Mataji, I can read.
Okay, go ahead.
Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya chaham sannivisto mattaha smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me
how do I get back to the
come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and I am the knower of Vedas. Situated in everyone's heart, Krishna deals differently according to the living entity's position. The living entity's position is to be under the protection of the illusory energy or under Krishna's personal protection. When a living entity is fully surrendered, he is under the direct protection of Krishna, and Krishna gives him all intelligence by which he can advance in spiritual realization. The non-devotee, however, being under the protection of the illusory energy, increasingly forgets his relationship with Krishna. Sometimes it is asked how Krishna causes one to forget. Krishna personally causes his devotee to forget material activities, and through the agency of Maya, Krishna causes them.
Thoughts and comments on what we read. You liked anything here?
This is one thing which I have always pondered upon. I'm really confused about what surrender means. It is really confusing, and I'm not very clear on that. Even though it says follow the instructions provided by Krishna, but still I'm not very clear on that. I often think whether in the name of surrender I'm doing some mistake or something like that. So I always thought about this, like, what is surrender?
Krishna answered your wishes. Actually, I was just thinking that last week when we were reading, I think we were reading translations of the Bhagavad Gita. And so Devi Mataji, she likes reading Sanskrit verses. And so when her turn came, she said, can I read the Sanskrit also? So I said, no, let's just read the translations, and then so that there's uniformity in how the class is going. And then, of course, she did that. She just read the English translations. And today, I was thinking that she got the main verse, Anukulya Saparjita. So I was just thinking that how, if you have a desire, to recite Krishna Katha, then Krishna fulfills that desire.
Yeah.
Right, like that. Yes. So we will go deep into this, and I think I don't know how much deep we can go, and we can have more sessions on this surrender, because surrender is something which is what we did not do, right? That's why we are here.
Mm-hmm.
And so before we go into surrender, as it is mentioned here, I would like to know from you that what do you think are the give me examples of surrender, examples that you ever you did or surrender that you saw others doing if you didn't surrender.
Visa interview in India.
You are
completely surrender. Do Krishna whatever is favorable for us.
Okay.
I mean, at that time we feel that nothing is in our hand. It is totally Krishna's mercy who comes in front. It's sometimes we may say it as luck, sometimes we may say something else, but eventually it's Krishna. That's when we are able to truly surrender, right? I mean, that's what I think. Okay, leave it to Krishna, because you can keep on thinking about it. Okay, what will I do? What will I do? I did it right, I did it wrong. But at some point you have to just say, okay, whatever I do, it's up to Krishna, and he will take care of it. I think when we think that he will take care of it, I think that's when we have to try to practice it to relieve us from certain constant thoughts at times, and it really helps us.
I like the word relief. Okay, we'll just keep note of that, right? Write it on a mental whiteboard somewhere. Okay, and then
my thought, Mataji, quick thought is that I believe surrender is following Krishna's instructions. He has given us instructions in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures. So when we genuinely try to follow his instructions to our best ability, then we are trying to surrender.
Yeah. So that is the devotional aspect of surrender, right? I'm also asking about material. Give me examples of surrender in the material world.
Like every day at work, just listen to our boss. Whatever he says, right or wrong.
Do you want to show us your face?
At home to a wife.
At home to the wife. Who is this who's saying that?
Suyash Prabhu.
Suyash Prabhu is saying, oh, you've been married for 3 years now. I thought
surge of coronavirus. So right now, what we can do, we are, completely surrendering ourselves onto the Krishna, because everything is in his hand only, we can just, surrender onto him. We can pray for the better, So I just feel we are completely dependent on him. All our activities, everything is guided by him. We just feel like we are the doers, but actually it is he who is, doing everything in this world.
Yeah, so, but I'm asking examples of surrender in the mundane world.
Mm-hmm. And initially I used to pray that please send him back to California. And then I realized that this is not something that you ask for. You surrender to him and Krishna will do only what is best for him eventually. So a couple of years back, I just stopped and I said, okay, we'll just leave it to Krishna. And Krishna sent him. He got UC Irvine in California. So I just felt that not by my asking, but by my not asking and just leaving the result up to Krishna, he will do only what is best for us.
Good. So, is somebody saying something? I can't hear.
I said that is very powerful, Mataji, too.
A desire for knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah.
4 type of people who will come to Krishna. Do you remember? Anybody remember that?
4 type
people who come to Krishna.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody and you can unmute yourself, right? That will remove the echo that is coming. All right? Mm-hmm.
Desirer of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And one more is similar
Artho
to
Jigyasu. There were 4 that were described. Remember that? Okay. I always grossly foolish. Yes. Very good. And the verse, but may I please go ahead and tell us what you were saying?
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish. This is 7:15 words from
Bhakti. Can now read. So I remember that Sonal Mataji and Sasishika Prabhu didn't read, right? So here you go. You can read to your heart's contents. Whatever.
Namam dushkrito muda prapadyante narada mama maya.
That simply by surrendering oneself onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Krishna, who can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises. How is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men, taught by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with great plan and perseverance for a great many years and births? But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hardworking leaders adopt this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyas, Devala, Ashita, Janaka, Prahlad, or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy, nature, is so powerful, it can resist the ana or miscreants. Kriti means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Dushkriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. In the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority.
Not surrendering is not good. We have to surrender. And as Chitra Mataji was saying that she could never figure it out, that what exactly does surrender mean? So we will Sankalpa Pratikulya Savarjanam. And it's a verse that has been taken from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, gettable, but nevertheless, I will paste the link on our chat window, and Kathy Mataji can do the necessary here. Or here. Okay. So if you got that, then let me know if you're following it there. But so here it says Anukulyasya Sankalpa. So let's look at the word Anukulya. Anything that assists devotional service to the Lord is said to be Anukulyasya, means anything that hinders devotional service. And what are we supposed to do with that? Varjanam, you do complete rejection of that. Raksishyati, he will protect. Iti, thus. Vishvasa, strong conviction. So what is your strong conviction?
That he will protect.
That he will protect, right. Goptritve, in Sadvidha, sixfold. Sharana Gati, Sharan Agatihi, process of. I was asking for examples in life of when you surrender or when you see others surrender, and sometimes you have to surrender to be able to. So why do you think that, apart from the fact that that we fear, so fear is one of the motivators to surrender, right or no?
Right.
People surrender from that? Okay. So people would surrender from fear. So you would fear from the boss that, he might not give the bonus. He might just, not pay you your dues. He might not promote you, or worst case, he can fire you, right? So those are the reasons that you would and he was thinking that, if I continue to fight with whatever kind of equipment and whatever kind of army that I have, I will get killed. If I don't surrender, only one leg left, like that. So each of the legs represent, mercy, truthfulness, like that. And he was mercifully beating him. And of course, when he sees, goes down at the feet of Parikshit Maharaj, like complete surrender, because he knew that if I don't, then he's going to kill me. So sometimes surrender happens. We do surrender to our doctor, right? If our surgeon says, I'm going to operate you, then at some point in time, there is some surrender to Krishna. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are reading Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam. So what's the meaning of Sankalpa from my heart? Brahmati vicha me mana, nimittani cha paschani, vipiritani ka keshava. He's saying, I don't know what to do, all these kinds of omens I'm seeing, all the opposite things I'm doing. So after we have gone up and down this material world for many, many lifetimes, then by the mercy of Krishna, we get a spiritual master. And then through the mercy of spiritual master, complete surrender. Right, and we are lucky that the gurus of this age are very lenient on us, because we are not good disciples. We don't have, and that's a characteristic of Kali Yuga, and that's why Prabhupada reduced the number of rounds that you're supposed to chant, right? From 64, which his spiritual master said, he reduced it to 16 now, and we are finding even that difficult thing to do, like that. So anukulyasya sankalpa, you have to do anukulya. Now, so what I'm just saying is that even if it is not a guru-disciple kind of a relationship, but even if it is a simple student-teacher relationship, you have a professor and you are working with the professor, right? Even if you go to the doctor, right? If you go to the doctor, and so what are the doctors telling us these days? What is don't go out, why don't you go out? So that is pratikul, right? Don't go out is pratikul. No, don't do this, right? So don't go out, right? But sankalpa, so you have some warm water, drink, lots of vitamin, bring up your sleep nicely, bring up your immune system and things like that, right? So similarly, you have to do the same thing in the spiritual life as well. Right, and as Vaisheshika Prabhu says, that your spiritual master is a doctor, and he comes with a little bag inside it, just like as a doctor in the past used to come with a black box when they used to do visits to your home, and inside that box, what are there? There are two things which are there in that box.
Stethoscope.
Stethoscope.
Yes, in the doctor's box, right? But what is there in the spiritual master's box?
Scriptures.
Huh?
Scriptures.
Close, yeah, and
blessings.
Yes. So there are. He says that that box has got hymns, right? Which means they come from scriptures, of course. And there are hymns and there are instructions that we have to follow, right? Pratikulas. They do that. Parents also tell the kids, you do this, you do that. Husband will tell, mom will tell to the daughter, elder brother will tell to the younger brother. So this goes on, whenever you have a, goal to reach, then there will be certain things that you have to do, right? For example, if you have an early flight to catch, then you have to sleep early the night. Anukulyasya sankalpa. So what are some of the anukul things that we do?
Chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Very good.
Reading Srila Prabhupada books.
Very good.
And the 4 regulative principles.
That is pratikulya.
That's pratikulya.
Following the 4 regulative principles is pratikul, right? Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
But what are they?
Associating with the devotees.
So you will do or not do?
Addressing the deities.
Okay.
And doing service for devotees in Krishna.
Yes.
Say that part again. I didn't hear you, Preeti.
Doing service for devotees and for Krishna in temple.
Doing service for the devotees and doing service for Krishna, right? In the temple. Can you do some service outside the temple?
Yes.
Can you do some service online?
Yes.
Right? So Krishna says Pratikul to your devotional service. What is Anukul, sorry. And what is Pratikul? Opposite of that? What is it that we're not supposed to do?
The
No
four
meat
regulative
eating,
principles.
no
No
meat eating, no
intoxication.
intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex.
Right. And Chetan, Asat is something that is not to do with Krishna. Right? So we might say that everything comes from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, Krishna says that Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kammano, Buddhirevacha. So earth, water, fire, all these are my energies. So if they are his energies, then what business do I have to say that I won't have anything to do with it? What business do I have to say earth is bad, this is bad, that is bad? Earth by itself is not bad. It is dead matter. Air by itself is not bad. It's dead matter. It's just that when these items are used to make my body and then I'm placed in it, and when I start to enjoy it for my own enjoyment, that is when it takes on something that becomes pratikul. But the same things can be utilized in the service of Krishna and they become anukul. Right? So pratikul and anukul, the same thing, same energy can be utilized there, this way or that way, right? That's why we use the term yukta vairagya. So you don't have to give up everything. You have to just utilize everything in the service of Krishna. For example, somebody might just say that you are into devotional service, throw away this laptop. What are you doing with this laptop? Now, in these days, this laptop is our window to the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Through this laptop, we are talking to everybody. Divisions, anybody wants to give me the first two divisions of surrender? What are the next two?
Rakshisyati Vishwaso Gopatatre Varnam Tatha.
So Rakshisati, faith that the person who's conducting the test is going to do the things right. And if the doctor says I have the virus or I don't have the virus, then I have the faith that he's telling me the truth. And right? Like that. So Rakshisati iti Vishwaso is very, very important. And actually in some of the medicines, medical systems, they say, and I'm talking about the material medicine systems that we have. For example, when I was young, I had a skin rash on my arms, and naturally we went for an allopathic treatment, and it actually flared, it made it worse. And so then somebody said, well, skin diseases, you should go for homeopathy. So I went for homeopathy. And the first thing that the doctor said is that you should have faith in the medicinal system. You should have faith in homeopathy, then only you will get better. And I think that can be extended to everything. Ayurveda takes it one step further. And Ayurveda says that these medicines are not going to act unless you take the name of Vishnu before having them, before popping the pill into your mouth. So that faith has got to be there.
There is a
that
whole
faith will protect.
Also in the modern medical field, it's called placebo effect. You don't know whether you are getting a drug or not, but just knowing that this drug can work wonders, people get better even though they were taking placebo drug.
Yes, which was just water, right? Or sweet pills, right? Something like that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So so that protection is that faith has got to be there. And we can see it in a very nice story. We see that sometimes the faith could be, the faith could be very instantaneous. And that is why
not a temporary sentimental state of mind.
Yes. So it is not a temporary state of mind, right? It is not that, it's a war and that, and, India can't do it and things like that. So it was not coming from the heart at all. It was a very, very calculated move that he did, but he knew he would get protection. So that is, that faith is there that I'm going to get protection, right? Very interesting thing is that, how you see Draupadi kind of, she goes through the various stages, when the Chirharan thing happens, right? So who does she turn to first? Does she turn to Krishna?
No.
Who does she go to? She goes to a series of people, right?
Right.
To her husbands.
Pandavas, Bhishma.
Yeah. Right, like that. So first she fights with the person who's pulling her, so she was dependent on her, right? And then she had faith that she'll be able to ward it off, and then couldn't, and then turned to the husband and realized, oh, they have already hanging their heads in shame and things like that. So it was only much later that she, after going through all that, that she threw up her hands and then she surrendered to Krishna, right? But the thing is that whenever people surrender to Krishna, then Krishna takes care, and you should have that faith. And at some point in time, that faith was kindled or revived in Draupadi, because she was a devotee of Krishna. So that faith was revived in her that Krishna will protect me, and that's why she threw her hands up in the air, right? And said, Krishna, protect me. And what did Krishna do? So although we talk about Draupadi, we use the term Draupadi Chir Haran, right? Chir means the sari, Haran means the removal. But reality is that, did her sari get removed?
No.
How much of sari did Krishna provide?
Tons and tons. Yards and yards.
Right? So that is demonstrating that if you have faith in Krishna, how much he's going to give you. Beyond our expectations. So much that Dusashan fell down, tired.
By surrendering.
But that's the most difficult thing, right?
By associating with the
to Krishna,
surrendered their life for the service of the Lord.
Yeah, who have faith in Krishna, right? If you get in touch with people, stand up, observe, emulate, then that is, that is what will invoke faith in you. Now, when it comes to following people who have got faith, for example, Prabhupada had faith. So with $40 in his pocket, he could come to USA. 2 years ago was good amount of money. I could have lived for a year on that in Minnesota. But I was like, I don't have Lakshmi. I don't have Lakshmi. Why? My faith was on Lakshmi. That Lakshmi will save me. Rakshishiti iti vishwaso. The faith was that money will save me. That is not the right faith. The right faith is what Prabhupada had. He came to USA with 40 rupees in his pocket. And Krishna arranged. He sold his Bhagavatam. He sold his Bhagavatams like that, right?
Can I ask a quick question? So can we develop faith, with association by emulating advanced devotees, but can we develop faith just by praying to Krishna that give me more faith and give me more closeness to you?
Absolutely. It doesn't come naturally, at least to me. We first try to figure it out ourselves, right? Using our whatever is our support system. I have money, I have got relatives, I have got connections. So when a problem comes, we try to solve that problem through those means, right? So yes, after some time, prayer will become a very natural thing to you, right? I was in my Friday class yesterday, Archana Mataji had asked. So there was a prayer that we were adding. And she was saying that, there are other prayers also. Should I do them? Or because you have given them now, should I still do them? Or should I? When you are associating with a devotee, and when you are trying to emulate what they are doing in their lives, there's a difference between following and copying. That's very, very important to know. Right? For example,
Anukaran and Anusmaran. Anusaran.
Yeah. So when you are following somebody, for example, I'm walking all the way to San Francisco, right? And I have a very brisk walk, and I'll be able to reach there in 12 hours, maybe. And if you follow me, then you will also reach San Francisco. But if you try to walk at my speed, but you don't have the capabilities, what's going to happen?
You will fall behind.
You will fall down. Turn back. There's no good. I'll call a, what is it called here? Uber. I've been in India for so long. I'm saying call a Ula. Call a Uber. Like that, right? So it's very, very important that when you are pursuing this, doing all these, divisions of surrender, you will do things according to your capabilities. Don't try to copy what others are doing. If somebody else is doing 64 rounds, yeah, it's a good thing. You appreciate that, right? We don't be envious, because we talked about that last week, right? So we don't be envious. We don't copy them, we emulate them. Okay, so he's doing 64, which means he's trying to do more than the 16 prescribed. Okay, let me try. I'm doing 16 now. For faith in God that he's going to protect doesn't mean that, I should also just put, $1 in my bill and say, okay, I'm going to jump on a jalduta and go. Do I have that kind of a strength to survive 2 heart attacks on the way? If I don't have, then, accept it. So that acceptance has also got to be there. And that acceptance has got to be in both the directions. The first was the acceptance and that Krishna will protect me. And the second acceptance is from your side also, that acceptance has got to be there. And that is that, number one, I can do it. And also knowing the limits, that, what I cannot do. So, staying within your bar, staying within your, spectrum. That, beyond this, I will not go, before this, and beyond this also, I won't go on either sides of it. If I'm capable of doing something and I'm not doing it because of laziness, that's wrong, right? If I'm not capable of doing something and I'm doing it, then that is also detrimental towards devotional service. So you have to find a sweet balance. And how will you find that sweet balance? That is why you need somebody to tell you, right? You need a mentor, you can have a spiritual master, you can go and talk to other devotee friends, right? So dadati pratiganati guhyam akhyati prichati. And I always emphasize guhyam akhyati prichati is you talk to people in confidence and in confidence. And you tell them, this is what is going on in my mind. Is it the right way? Is it the right attitude? Is it good or is it not good, like that? So, anikulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishati iti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha. So that God is like a father, God is like a husband, God will take care of me. And Srimad Bhagavatam is full of stories of how God really takes care of you. Now, sometimes you might think that, what is God doing to me? Why is God doing like that? And sometimes we might just, when distress comes to our life, we might just blame. And we all have been, brought up saying that when you do this, if you do this, God will be angry and God will punish you and God will kill you, like that, right? We grew up learning things like that. So our figure and an impression of God is one that who's very cruel. He's ready to jump at me. He's ready to, do all kinds of nasty things to me if I make a mistake. And my sufferings are because I have a God who punishes. That's our concept, right? But when we look at the reality behind it, that, if I am suffering, if I am in distress, if I need protection, that is because of my own sins. So the direction has to change from blaming God, it has to come towards me, right? So God can help with 2 things. God can help you protect, right? So are there any protections that you take in your day-to-day lives?
Yeah, Narasimha prayers.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
In the mundane life.
Oh, yeah, we take vitamins so that we're healthy.
Take in the non-corona days.
Staying inside the home to protect ourselves from the outside weather.
Yeah. Do's and don'ts.
Yeah, don't
so
go
similarly,
out late in
Krishna
the
is the
night.
father of the father of the father. If he's telling you some do's and don'ts, then we should listen to them. It's very simple. Anukulyasya, pratikulyasya, what you're supposed to do. That's what the scriptures are telling us to do. So those are the items of surrender, right? So goptitya varnam tatha. So when he's doing that, we have to remember one thing, that and we talked about, that's material energy, material modes of nature and things like that. And we have to understand this, that when the bad things are happening to us, right? So we talk about trivid tap. There are 3 kinds of distresses that we get, 3 types. What are the 3 types that we get?
Adhi-devik.
Yes, Mataji, you go ahead.
Adhi-devik, Adi-bhautik, and Adhyatmik.
Adhyatmik, right? So what is Adi-devik?
I think nature.
Natural calamities and all.
Okay. But who does that? Who brings them on?
Demigods.
Demigods, right? So it is the demigods who bring them on, and not Krishna. So we have to remember that, but they work under his supervision. Now it's a very interesting thing that the word super plus vision is supervision. So somebody is supervising. The one who supervises has got a better vision. He's on the top. So from the top, you can see more. So Krishna is higher than the demigods. He sees. He has a better plan there. And he says, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. That all these are Maya adhyaks. They are adhin. They are below me. I am on top of them. So, right? If you take to Krishna, then you are under the supreme protection. And the example of that is the Govardhan Leela. Right? So, again, Goptritte Rakshasati iti Vishwaso. So, can you give me examples of self-surrender?
Bali Maharaj.
Right? So, we give the examples of self-surrender, that somebody surrendered. And we see surrendered kind of like, in a very, very graphical way, that that Vamandev puts his foot on his head, right? When he's not able to fulfill. So when you start in the beginning, when Vamandev had come to Bali Maharaj, and he had said to Bali Maharaj was giving away gifts to everybody, donations, charity. He was doling out charity, and he said that to Vamandev, he said, okay, ask for something, So he said, nah, I just want 3-step land, just 3 steps. And then Bali Maharaj said, no, ask something more. So it was like, I am something. I will be able to give you whatever you ask, ask me. So there was that ego was there. And then when his spiritual master is telling him that, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, he still went ahead and did it. It was not because he was a supreme devotee of Krishna. There was still that element that I am a Kshatriya. I have given the word that I will give you everything. I have to keep my word. So he did. Look at Vamandev. Then he says that, I will be your doorkeeper, like that. In contrast, there are others who have surrendered. Gajendra also surrenders, right, to Krishna. His surrender is also a little bit, flavored, right? He was in distress. That's when he remembered Krishna. He was not remembering Krishna like that. So who are the most surrendered to Krishna, do you think? Who do you think are the most surrendered?
Prahlad Maharaj, Hanuman.
Yes, Prahlad Maharaj surrender is at a higher level, right? And who is the highest?
Gopis.
The gopis are the highest, They are the highest. And then, so this is this Atma Nikshepa Karpanya. This Atma Nikshepa, your self-surrender, which is coming over here, is actually coming from love. It is not because I have a crocodile on my leg. It's not because I'm a Kshatriya, I have given a word and I need to give that, piece of land to him. Surrender. Right? You're doing anything and everything. Gopis did anything and everything. And when Krishna sees that kind of surrender, Krishna becomes very, very happy. In fact, Krishna says that I can't even repay you. So Krishna is forever in debt in debt for doing that, for their doing that. He says that only thing that I can say to you is that you continue your devotional service. Like that. So these are the 6 types of, or 6 divisions of surrender. And they will come slowly to us. Slowly it comes, when we start doing the regulative principles, it's a surrender. It's a surrender that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. I'm just, I like to eat meat, and, my spiritual master is saying, no, don't eat, so I'm listening. Or I like to gamble, and I've been told not to do it, okay, I will agree. So it starts. For those of you who have come from a different country, you know that, right? As soon as you land in America, it's like, I can't eat this food, it's so bland. And association, you will learn how to do it. So 6 items of surrender. And this is something that, gets into it in your day-to-day life. And a surrendered devotee to Krishna, he says, will never look at Krishna as the one who is punishing me. Will always say that, okay, I am in this situation, but the good thing is that Krishna can protect me if I just have to turn to Krishna. Look at the Bal Gopals, right? What would they do? They saw Aghasura and they're thinking, is he a snake, or is he a mountain, or is it a cave, or whatever it is? And then they're like, is it a Rag devotee of the Lord? But when you are at that position where you are handling so many things in the heavenly planets, that you can get corrupted, your mind can get corrupted from that. Too much of he had to do 100, and when he did 99, Indra was upset. He thought, now he's going to become Indra. So he carries away the horse, and by crooked means, he comes dressed as a sannyasi, he does this, he disappears, vanishes, and things like that. And Prithu's son, being a good son, did not kill Indra, although he had captured him. And then finally they do catch hold of him. And then to cut a long story short, when the Vishnu finally arrives in the sacrificial arena, who do you think is with Vishnu? Indra. So even after all that was done, yes, Krishna will chastise Indra, he will do all that, but he still takes care of his devotees, right? After the Govardhan Leela happened, when Indra had behaved so badly with Krishna's devotees, right? He had sent Samantha clouds to kill them. And then Krishna raises the Govardhan hill and then protects all of them. But then when it comes to, talking to Indra about it, he takes Indra to a quiet corner. He does not chastise him in front of everybody. So Krishna does take care of his devotee. Kaunteya prati janehi name bhaktya pranashyati. So when a devotee has got this kind of a conviction, then the devotee will say that Tatenukampam susamikshamano bhunjanamevatmakitam vipakam hidvagvapubhir hidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bha. So this is Brahma who just says that, whenever bad things fall on a devotee, he takes them as an anukampa. He takes them as a blessing from the Lord. That this is a blessing. He's always think that, there's something bad is happening to me, but something good is going to come out of us. And if you have that faith, in you, then Corona can come and Corona can go. It's not going to shake you. Because we have that thing that, what is it good that is going to come out of it? I can see one good that has come out from it is that we are having Bhakti Vrksa every week. Yes or yes?
Yes.
See, so we have to learn to see. Yeah. So we have to learn to see Krishna's hand everywhere. Sonal Mataji could not join the classes because she had work to do. She was never able to attend the 3:00 Bhagavatam classes that we have every Friday. But now she's able to join. And it might not be a permanent thing, but we make the most of whatever we have. So I would stop here with this note that, let's make the most of this, come what may. Let's not lose our faith that Krishna will protect us.
Mataji, your voice is breaking in between.
Yeah, I have a poor internet connection. Yeah, it told me here. Yeah. And the funny thing is that the Zoom or whatever, whenever there's a bad internet, it collects all that you have said, and then it streams to you in a very fast speed to kind of catch up. So you will find some sentences coming from me in a very garbled and a very quick manner, but that's how, technology operates like that.
I've seen one thing when that happens, if we start like closing our videos, that might help. And, even if you want to deliver some message in between, we can use the chat, like Krishna Namburi Prabhu said, Zoom has that option.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Shraddha-mataji, can I ask one question? Very small.
Yes.
Regarding what you said about follow. Yes, about you were saying about following and copying, right?
Yes.
Actually, it's very funny because I wanted to really figure out this question a week. I was thinking every day about this question, like what is the difference? Well, you were saying about copying, right? And about this example, if you want to go to San Francisco, right, we don't have the same capacity, right? What would be the right answer? Like, how would we follow? Is it like that I understand that, okay, I understand that your goal is just to go to San Francisco, and by my own means, what I can do, I can go there, right? Like, and I know that it will satisfy you. This means following and not copying? Or
yes,
like
yes.
I understand it in the wrong way?
Right. For example, there are roads. You're standing at one place and there are roads. One road is going to take you to Delhi. One road is going to take you to San Francisco. Those two other roads, then you will definitely not reach San Francisco, right? So then you take the road to San Francisco. Now, which means that at least you are on the right path. All that you have to do is to continue walking on that path. Now, how do I walk on that path? Do I have to walk as swiftly as that other person, or do I have to do it on my own pace? If you try to walk as swiftly as that other person, you might exhaust yourself, get disgusted, and leave and stop and decide not to even go there. Right? So as Vaisheshika Prabhu says, small daily increments. Like if somebody says that, oh, you know what, every Ekadashi I changed, it was everywhere. You were starving, you were hungry, you hated every bit of it. Guess what? Next day, you don't even want to do your own 16 rounds. Right? So those kind of dangers are there, but just copying. Instead of that, you say, okay, this Ekadashi, how many Ekadashis come in a year? At least 26 Ekadashis come. So if every Ekadashi, you bump up your figure by 1. This Ekadashi 17, next Ekadashi 18, next Ekadashi 19, right? So slowly, in over a period of 2 years, you will reach that same place, right? In a nice, sweet manner, in a nice way, right? So that is the danger of copying. That if I just blindly do that without even looking at my capabilities, like that.
And following just to keep the goal and be on this right path.
Right, and even before that is to check the right goal. Is to choose the right goal. Right? Should I be going to San Francisco? Should I be going to Chicago? Should I be going where? Right? And some people will tell you that all paths are going to lead to God. It doesn't happen. We don't talk it like that. Like if you're a Gyani, you're a Karmi, if you're a Dhyan Yogi, all of them will, you can find God through all of the paths. It's not like that. Prabhupada says in his lectures that, if you have taken a ticket to Delhi, then you will reach Delhi. If you have to go to Bombay and you took a ticket to Delhi and you sit on that plane, then that plane is going to take you to Delhi. It won't take you to Bombay. Now, once you reach Bombay, from there you can take another ticket to go to Delhi. That's another thing. And that's what we talk about, that, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasyat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyaga tyaga chantaranantaram. In the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling you that, if you're a Gyani, that's fine. You can start there. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti shabdate. So in order to reach God, there are steps and stages that you can follow. Or, as Prabhupada says, if you want to reach the 17th story of a building, you can take the stairs or you can take the elevator. So Bhakti Yoga is the elevator. And Bhakti Yoga at the highest level will require Atma Samparpan, complete surrender. Right? And we will do it in stages, and we are all practicing that slowly but steadily.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, can you just elaborate more on apohana?
Apohana means forget. And Krishna will make you forget.
Forget. Okay.
And so what does Krishna make you forget?
The material stuff.
Well, a lot of things. The first is that he has made you forget your previous birth. All your previous births you have forgotten. It will be pretty bad for me to think that I was a lizard in my previous birth, right? And I'll be ashamed to tell you that also, right? So that for that reason, I could have been your enemy in your previous birth, in our previous births, right? So it's better to forget all those kind of things. Okay, but the impressions, the lessons that we have learned in our previous births, they still remain in our mind. However, Krishna says that, you know, if you really want to enjoy something, then I will let you enjoy. If you want to enjoy material things, I will enjoy. And let's quickly look up, you know, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think 7th chapter. It would be verse number 21. Let me just bring it up really quickly here. 7th chapter, verse number 21. And I'll send you the link there to it on the chat window. Okay. It's waiting for Vedabase. Yeah, okay. So here on the chat window, Kathy Mataji verse is coming up here. And so it is a very, I call it as the yo-yo verse. Yo-yo, yeah, I'm in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make it faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So if that desire is there so much, then you will forget. If you have a strong desire in your heart to worship a demigod because you want to have quick go back home, you won't remember that. You will still think about your demigod only like that. So he will make you forget that. Sometimes Krishna will make you forget things. Sometimes people forget things because the way the karmic reactions have to happen, and then you will forget. And Krishna will also make you remember. Most important thing is Krishna will also make you remember. And about forgetting, I have to tell you this thing, that when I was a young kid, I used to take part in elocutions and debates and things like that. So there were 2 competitions in my school, and first one was some elocution, and then second day was debate or something like that. And so I went to my mom and I took her blessings. I touched her feet and took her blessings, and I said, you know, I'm going to go there. She blessed me. And I went there. It was nice. I got the first prize or whatever. But that's not the point. Next day, I was a teenager, and you know how teenagers behave, right? I was a teenager, so I had a little tiff with my mom. So when I was going to school, and she was in the same school as I was, but I was like, I'm not going to ask her. I already got the first prize, you know, what's the big deal? I'll do good this time also. I went there and I delivered my speech very nicely. And as I was delivering the speech, the mind was telling me like, see, you made it. And you will not believe, at that point, standing on the stage in front of 200 students, I forgot the last line. It just went.
Oh my gosh.
It just went.
See,
The last
Krishna
line.
can do anything.
Krishna can make you forget to remind you, look here.
He can make you forget, he can make you remember both of things as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing your experience. And thank you so much for the wonderful, Krishna Katha, nectarian Krishna Katha as always.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I get inspired by you. And I'm just so happy that so many people are able to join this. And yeah, we will, if I have your permission.
Mataji, can I say?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
That's why I said both of them comes from him only, forgetfulness and remembrance.
Yeah, I mean, see, Bharat Maharaj, when he gets entangled with the deer, right? But then in the body of the deer, he remembers his previous life. Who's giving him that remembrance? The super soul, right? Who suddenly remembered the prayers? Gajendra, right? So from where is this coming? All this remembrance at the nick of the moment, things you remember, I remember once my Guru Maharaj had asked me to make a PowerPoint presentation, and he had asked me to attach a file, a sound file with that. And he wanted a particular sound. And I don't know what happened. I forgot the instructions and I attached another file. And you will not believe, he was going to present it. And then half an hour before that, the remembrance came that I have used the wrong file. So from where does this come? Krishna helps you. When he sees that you're doing a good thing, he will help you. You have that faith. You have that faith. If not, just keep telling your mind to have the faith, because mind will always come and present other options to you. But all these other options just go waste.
Mataji, in this regard, I have a question.
Mm-hmm. You can pray to the Lord, right? Just as you had a sincere desire to recite the shloka, you have a sincere desire to memorize them also. And by repetition, they come. Shlokas are easy come, easy go. They will come easily. They will go away also easily. And so if you don't want them to go away easily, you have to invite them every day. So if not every day, at least, again and again. There's a book by Prabhupada, Prabhupada Select Verses, not by Prabhupada, but his disciples compiled that as verses that he used a lot. They are amazing verses. You can get that book. Yeah, and just read. And then, of course,
what is the title, Mataji?
It is the Prabhupada Shloka book. That's what Select Verses of Prabhupada. That's what it says. Yeah. Vaisheshika book about Apohanam. I just remembered
the most quoted verses.
Yes, exactly. That's the one. Yeah. So Guru Maharaj, sorry, I was distracted. Guru Maharaj tells us a very good example of a person. He said he was a very renowned Pandit and very well known in shlokas and things like that. And then I think it was the Vrindavan temple or Mayapur temple or something like that. And that day he was supposed to sing the Prasadam prayers and he forgot the Prasadam prayers. I mean, it's so Apohanam can happen anywhere, anytime. So that is why the Bhakta is always praying to Krishna. Always praying to Krishna, because the Bhakta knows, once you know that this comes from Krishna, Smriti is coming from Krishna and forgetfulness is also coming from Krishna, then you will be grateful that he has not made you forget him in this life, right? You could have completely forgotten Krishna. I had forgotten him for so many decades, right? Till you are lucky and then somebody comes and opens your eyes. That's why we say, oh no. So do we have, I can take a last reflection or a question, because we have a Ramayana reading coming up in half an hour. And Naveen Nirat Prabhu is going to read that today. He's going to read the Yuddha Kand. So those of you who like a lot of, fighting kind of stuff, today's reading is the reading to attend. Yeah, there'll be a lot of bloodshed and war cries and things like that. All right, so if there are no more questions or comments, then we'll call it a day here. Thank you so much for joining on the call, and thank you devotees who are also watching us online on Facebook. Vanchikalpatrubhyascha kripasindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gopremanande. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Welcome. Kathy, Mataji, I just rely on you that you can read the chapter by yourself. Some chapter that you're reading, maybe chapter or something like that. Okay.
Chapter number, Mataji?
Whatever you're reading. Yeah.
Chapter 7.
Oh, last time also we did the same. We are doing this month same thing.
Yes. Say that again.
Tomorrow morning
we should have, right, Kathy, Mataji? Kathy, tomorrow we are having. Maybe it's better to announce on that group, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of the break. Yeah. Just say same number.
I will send.
Yeah. Sorry. And tomorrow I'll have to stop maybe 5 minutes before 7 because I have be safe. Rakshasati is the Vishwaso. Hare Krishna and Hari Bol.